So football's been a really big part of our family life. So in terms of me specifically, that I have to say that it does go back to Sunday league games at Hackney Marshes. Anyone from this part of the world will know what I'm talking about. My dad was really actively involved in the Turkish community and Turkish Community Football League, and he was a coach, and then he became a chairman. And at one point, he was leading two teams, and I just remember him booking two pitches on either side and being trapped in the middle with footballs flying around. But yeah, really great experiences and memories. And obviously, because we built such a positive memory around football, it's something that I then went on to start playing myself. My brother was also, he plays football, and we were always around his games, and had my first actual experience on, I guess, like the coaching or business side of football with his football team. So I was really grateful for that, because it's obviously a really male dominated environment, but it gave me that confidence to be able to do that then away from sort of like family and friends that I was quite comfortable around. Um, so I I guess in terms of me taking a step into football, there wasn't actually a girls' football team at my school, and me and a couple of friends had to set it up ourselves, even though there was like three or four boys' teams. And we'd arrange fixtures with other schools, and then we'd have to beg one of the teachers to like accompany us because we couldn't actually go alone. Um, and I think just those kind of experiences made me think, all right, well, I didn't pick PE for GCSE, but A level, it's something that I want to do. Um, I guess to my mum's disbelief that I actually wanted to study sport and exercise science at university as well, when we come from sort of like a family of business people and lawyers and stuff. So it's something that I kind of had to fight for. I know we always had it in our lives from a social perspective, and we're really avid fans, being that we have like Turkish Cypriot backgrounds. Turks are crazy about football, so it's something that's always been there. But I think it was a little bit different for someone to say, well, actually, I want to carve a career out of it. So I'm quite, I guess, proud of what I've been able to achieve, and the support that I've gained from my family along the way has been really incredible for me. So I'm currently the Education Training and Employment Manager at Crystal Palace, and very recently I was appointed as the Race Equality Lead as well. So in terms of the E to E, so Education Training and Employment work, we work with secondary school young people, and then neat young people who may be sort of 16 to 19, 19 plus, who are out of education or employment. And we try to support them back into those positive progression routes and outcomes. It's really rewarding, and it's something that I've worked in for several years. So prior to my role at Palace, I was at Chelsea. And again, we did some really great work there as well. And I think for me, at the core of it is being able to use the power that football has in engaging people, and to be able to harness that community feel and get people onto those right paths and the more positive pathways, and bring opportunities to them, which they may not feel are for them in the first place. So we always hear those stories about people seeing an opportunity and not wanting to apply for it because they don't feel it's for them, or that they wouldn't feel comfortable in that environment. So I think from the foundation perspective, that's something we're able to do. We're able to bridge that gap between the football clubs and what they stand for, and the actual communities that they are within. It's not uncommon to find that the bigger fan base of a football club isn't actually the immediate community that the club is within. So that's something that the foundations do really well, and that is to bridge that gap between the community and their community club. Um, just to put it out there, I don't actually support Palace. I'm from North London, so we also don't support the closest club to us. I have to admit that we support Arsenal and we live in Tottenham, but I appreciate that community vibe that Tottenham does bring to the area as well. So I've heard a lot about what Surrey FA does and the IAG does. I work really closely with the chair, Riz Rehman, and we work on several projects through his role and my role, but then also some of our personal interests. And we work together on the ZRF Foundation, which is the Zesh Rehman Foundation, which is set up by Riz and his brother Zesh. So I think a lot of our values aligned, and the more I heard about the work that Surrey FA were doing and wanted to do, the more it was something that I really wanted to get involved in. And I'm really glad that we've been able to formalize that. And I am really looking forward to getting to know the other IAG members and the Surrey FA itself and the community that it serves. So I know that the IAG has been trailblazing, if if they can say so themselves, in that they've been leading the way in the standards that are being set. And I like that competitive feel. I like the fact that they are leading the way, and it's something that I'm really looking forward to be a part of. And I hope that I can bring a different perspective to it. I mean, I find that I'm usually one of very few people who are from my background, my gender, ethnicity, etc. And I hope that that added perspective can then maybe help with the engagement of people like myself or people that can relate to me. And I hope that my various experience, whether that's within the actual grassroots side of football, coaching, teaching, equality and diversity, even a match day experience, I have match day roles as well. I hope that sort of a combination of that can really help to broaden the engagement that we have. So, I mean, we get asked these sort of questions a lot, and it's not uncommon, even for Riz actually, to use me as sort of the only female or the only female from a minority ethnic background, to talk about my experiences. And I think now that I reflect on it, and I have come a long way, since my school days when I first said I want to study sport and being able to justify that, and carving a career out of it now that I'm very proud of. Um, I think my biggest barrier and challenge is probably myself and the confidence that I was able to place in myself. I put a lot of the expectation in other people accepting me, and it shouldn't have been that way. It should have been me saying, "This is what I am. This is how I come. This is the perspective and the experience I bring to the table, and that should be what you want to hear from me." There's definitely been barriers, and I would say the only thing that is upsetting about it is that I know that there's other people that are facing those barriers that I did. Where I've been able to, I've definitely spoken up about it. And I just want to sort of empower people to be able to do that. And if they need to reach out to people, they should know that there are people like myself. I'm sure the other members on the IAG as well, where we're happy to help and discuss the experiences we've had so that people can possibly learn from the route we took and some of the difficulties we faced. One of the things that gets missed a lot is it's not just those almost physical barriers to our development, but those challenges and barriers also have such a massive social and emotional impact as well. And the psychological side of dealing with those barriers is massive. And that's something that I hope we can start to manage a lot better. And again, if there's any support that I can provide, then that's something that I'm so happy to do. So we just spoke about role models, and I think that's one of the key things and one of the more obvious things that we hear a lot of people talking about. And I think it shouldn't just be the physical presence of a role model. It should be what those role models stand for, what the power that they have is. Um, I guess even just using myself as an example, I don't think that I would have been the greatest role model 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago, because I probably wouldn't have spoken up and I wouldn't have been able to provide anyone else with the support because I couldn't even support myself. But now that I've grown and I've learned from my life and professional experiences, I think it's the meaning and the depth that that role model provides. As I mentioned, in terms of that wider engagement as part of Surrey, and the FA, it's about how we can broaden those perspectives. So yes, we have the role models. What is it that they're bringing? What are we allowing them to bring to the table? And then how are we using that? Are we actually using that to tap into those new perspectives, new communities, um, to make sure that we're actually building from a grassroots level that engagement and the accessibility of the sport, which we all really love? And are we making sure that it's a sport that more people can love and they feel confident and comfortable to be able to love? And whether it's on a recreational level, keep it as part of their life element, the family element, or if they choose to work in the sport like we have. I really do hope that it will become an even more positive and welcoming environment for more people. And I do think football's on the up. UK and British sport, the Premier League, there is a lot happening, and I think we're getting there, but we just need to make sure that we keep the momentum going and that it's the positive steps are made at the right time and continued.